Finance Radio Show on your hometown station, AM 1220 KHTS. Make sure to get great information or ask your important question at donandgino.com. Now, back to your friend, Don and Gino.
Thank you for joining us at the Vault Media Studio right here at Cherry Creek Mortgage. We are having a great time, as always, with our good friends and true real estate professionals, Randy Plaice and Liz Perez of the Randy Plaice real estate team. I'm telling you, they are rock stars. They just do a phenomenal job. We have worked on many transactions with them, and they have helped a lot of you out there with your dream of home ownership. And thank you for joining us again.
Thank you for having us, guys.
Thank you. No, I was talking to Liz.
Oh.
By the way, I love your new digs.
Nice.
I like it.
Yeah, you should check it out. Go to donandgino.com, donandgino.com, and click on the listen and chat live. It's live, literally. You should know it with all the blooper reels that I create every week, that it is live. And you can join us in the chat room. We've had some great comments, a lot of fun going back and forth, a lot of digs going back and forth with some of our friends out there. So please join us at donandgino.com. You can check out the very handsome Randy Plaice, and is even better.
He's okay.
Yeah, he's okay. Well, you already said yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like
it's how downhill from here.
I like how you figured out how to write off a wedding ring, though.
Oh yeah, that's very important.
Yeah,
It's very important. So for tips on that, please call Randy. Randy, how can they get a hold of you?
Oh, for tips on writing off engagement rings, please call me 818-294-0414.
You're a man of many talents.
He's going to put on the inside of her wedding ring randyplace.com so he can write it off.
I love it.
The entire wedding is going to be all about randyplace.com.
Okay.
The tents, everything.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
And that's Plaice. There's an I in there, but there's no I in your team.
No, sir.
That. See, that's pretty good.
You're starting to lose your pizzazz, Don.
I know. Like silence on the air. All right, so you came to listen to us explain what's happening in the real estate market with Randy and Liz, and I want to give you an update. We were kind of talking about where the numbers are at, and you're going to start hearing how mortgage applications were down 2.3%, and it's so easy for the media to jump on this and go, see, we told you there's a bubble coming. There's a bubble coming. It is down 2-3%. What they're going to fail to tell you is that purchase applications, this is where the market really grows, is the purchase market, was up 6%.
I like that. I
Yes.
like that a lot.
It was only because refinances were down. Interest rates went up for a little while. And just so you know, they've come back down. They're great, by the way. If you're afraid of low fours, get over it.
Oh, they have to get over it, Don. I got to tell you, I mean, I did very, very, very well on the first property I ever bought, and I bought it at 6.875. So, ultimately, if it doesn't start with a 6, you should be jumping in with both feet, for sure, 100%. At 6, that's a more normal interest rate. But, Don, you remember times, 11, 12, 14?
Well, my first home was 7 3/4 on the first, and like 12.4 on the second or something like that, and I was ecstatic. I owned a home. Throwing away rent, I won't say throw it away, sorry, I got to pull that back. Obviously, it provides you, a home to live in, but please purchase a home. It is the best savings account you ever have, and there's nothing like the pride of a home ownership, and that's why you guys love what you're doing. When you hand those keys, have you ever had one go, wish I didn't do that? They're ecstatic. They cannot wait to jump and walk in their brand new home.
Especially the folks that are coming out of renting, and they do have that pride of ownership because now they actually were able to get into a home of their own. Just a feeling of actually owning something and walking into their home as opposed to somebody else's. Yeah, it's a good position to be in, and it's a real good feel-good experience.
Well, I guarantee, Liz, the women are already telling you what they're going to do to the kitchen, what color paint's going on the walls.
They're asking me where the closest furniture stores are, They're
already planning it all out, huh?
Everything.
Isn't it great? And the guys are going, I'm going to redo this garage.
Yeah, and all of a sudden the bank account get a call from their banker. Hello, what are you doing?
We're happy. We're building. We're improving. Okay, so let's make sure that buyers and sellers know what is going on right now with the markets, because it's changed. Why don't you explain the change in the market over the last 6 months from the euphoria to a more normal market? Am I correct?
Sure, yeah. It went from a place where everybody was just frantic and there was all sorts of craziness. Things were just flying off the shelves. Things still are flying off the shelves to some extent, but but it has normalized, like you were saying. A lot of sellers became very unrealistic with their prices. They knew all of a sudden there was equity there, but they thought that maybe there was $50,000 or $100,000 more in equity, so they would put their properties on the market for too high of an amount, so it caused a little bit of stagnation, if you will. It was just sitting there for a period of time.
Mm-hmm.
Greed.
There's a lot of things that were factoring in for sure, and I think that contributed a lot to the stability of the market now, where it's stabilized. Not every single listing that's hitting the market is flying off the shelves, but if you're still pricing it right and you're in these desirable areas, Santa Clarita, San Fernando Valley, these areas, you're going to see action. You're going to get feedback at least. You're going to get bodies through the door, and you'll know if the price is right or if it's not.
Well, okay, let's touch on that, because that's a key point, because a lot of let's say less experienced real estate professionals will basically list it whatever you feel it's worth. But that's not always the best plan of attack, because if you overprice your home, what's going to happen, Randy?
It's going to sit. It's going to sit. It's going to sit. And then what's going to happen is not only will you have to entertain a price depreciation, or reduction downward, but once you do that, it's going to show weakness, and oftentimes you're going to get lowballed even more on top of that. So it really behooves you to be informed and trust your real estate professional like me, like Liz, so we can give you the information in terms of this is what the values are, this is what the comps are, these are the real numbers, and then you tell me, Mr. Seller or Mrs. Seller, where do you think your home lies based on these real numbers, not a dream number, but a concrete, legitimate sold comp. And that'll make a big difference.
Well, let's
You
talk
answered
about
that question perfectly. That's what I was looking for.
Yeah, well, I wanted to talk about that for a second because, I can't help but think to myself all the time, well, the neighbor's house sold for $485. I hear that all the time. Sure. Well, they don't take into consideration what you do. Well, they'll say, well, the neighbor's house had a pool, and the neighbor's house had a granite kitchen, and the neighbor's house has an extra bathroom.
Right.
And they don't take into consideration those things. Your job as a real estate agent is to take into consideration those things and say, yeah, that one sold for $485, but once I adjust your home to those characteristics, yours is going to be somewhere more in the $465 range or something along those lines.
And even if they were to take that into consideration, oftentimes they don't know the proper price tag to associate with the differences. So that's part of our responsibility too, to understand this is approximately how much granite countertops would be in your home. This is about what we're talking about in terms of difference. So that's a big thing that we do in terms of really educating them and telling them, okay, apples to apples, this is what we're talking about. And right now, you might be a green apple and that might be a red apple, but this is really where we're at. And right out of the gate, we want to be very honest. We don't want to go in there and tell you, oh, well, if you think $480 is the price it should be, then $480 we'll get, knowing in the back of our mind that 2 months down the road, we're going to have another conversation. We're going to get it down to where it should be. We would rather be honest up front, not get the listing if it doesn't suit you guys, because we want to be honest right from the start. Integrity is very important to our team, and we don't want to mislead you and say 480 is a realistic number when realistic maybe 460 or 450 might be.
Integrity on your team is why we love working with you guys. It's a no-brainer. I mean, if you've paid attention to our show now for 2.5 years, that's the only professionals we bring on this team. People that are accountable, people that really care about you out there, care about our community, are heavily involved in our community, and live. Almost everybody that comes in our show lives, breathes, and loves our community. And I know you guys raise your families here, right, Liz?
That's right.
You were just talking about your passion being a good mom.
Oh, I love being a mom.
There you go. So that was a great answers. And if you just tuned in, we're here with Randy Plaice and Liz Perez of the Randy Plaice real estate team from Keller Williams VIP Properties. I mean, just great information. You're answering these the way we love to hear, meaning being honest, integrous, and giving true answers, because knowing what you were talking about, the difference between one home, why it sold for this versus this home. The other area, too, is knowing timing's everything. If at that time when they sold their home and there was one on the market and everybody wants to be in that hot property versus now there's 8 on the market, does that change things?
Of course, supply and demand, no question.
Bingo.
Well, and it's funny. People say, well, there should be all this supply right now. Well, there's not a lot of supply right now, and it's because traditionally, and this is an old real estate tactic that some agents use, they say, well, let's list at the beginning of the year. Let's list at the beginning. I can't tell you how many times I heard that over the last 10 years. Well, let's list at the beginning of the year, because they're almost afraid to list the house during the holidays. But the reality is what that does is it actually creates less supply, and it actually could drive up the price a little bit.
Not only that, we believe in the bird in hand mentality, where we know where interest rates are right now. Is it going to jump dramatically in January? No, probably not. But I don't want to gamble that way, and I don't like my clients to gamble that way, and I would never advise them in that direction. We know where we are with interest rates right now. We know where we are with market values right now. Let's not mess around, because we know there's going to be adjustments one way or another, and most likely it's not going to be favorable to their end result, which is getting as much money for the home as possible. So let's take advantage of the market today, and let's make some moves.
Eliminating surprises is a key part of our job, wouldn't you say?
Absolutely.
All right. So I hope you paid attention, because Randy and Liz have given you some great advice of how to properly prepare yourself to sell your home at top dollar and not have your home sit or throw up red flags. If you overprice your home, it may give the wrong signals. So we're going to share a few more great signals to help you survive and thrive in really one of the best real estate markets we have seen. You don't want to miss out. When we come back to the Don and Gino Real Estate and Finance Show on your hometown station, AM 1220, KHTS, we'll be right back.
Why not?